Hello and welcome to Movie Recap. Today I am going to recap a movie, Jete. A lonely ballerina, struggling to control her monotonous life, reunites with a son she gave up to her mother in order for her to pursue her career. However, this reunion takes a strange turn as both refuse to be denied of their desires. Nadia teaches ballet class where she's strict with her students. She walks authoritatively as her ballerinas stretch and bend before practicing. When one student struggles with her stretches, the teacher climbs on her shoulder to add weight, telling her that as a dancer, they only can't do something when they accept their failure. They then begin their practice, but Nadia is unsatisfied with their performance. She stops and reminds them that in their grand chatter, they should think that there's nothing else around them but the air. She demonstrates this with a dance ending with a grand jete where she leaps in the air. Later, however, she struggles to remove her shoes as the performance has made her toes bleed. She goes to the clinic next where she asks for stronger painkillers from the pharmacist. The other woman reminds her that her orthopedist suggested that she start using a cane, but Nadia refuses this as this will confirm that her body is failing her. Despite this, her boyfriend, Daniel, buys her a cane to show his support and care for her, but Nadia still refuses to use it, determined not to admit defeat to her own body. The following day, Nadia visits her mother, Hannah, for her birthday. Her mother comments on the blemishes on her skin and gives her advice on how to treat them. Again, Nadia refuses to acknowledge imperfections on her body, so she insists that it's just an allergic reaction. At Hannah's birthday dinner, Nadia sees her estranged son, Mario, whom she left as an infant in her mother's care to focus on her career. The man doesn't acknowledge her, even when Hannah's guests discuss the woman's career. Instead, he finishes his meal quickly and excuses himself while Hannah is busy with her guests. After dinner, Nadia checks in on her son, who's now living in her old bedroom. However, she catches him while he's changing clothes, making things awkward, so Nadia leaves, even though Mario invites her inside. Feeling out of place at the party, she later hides in the bathroom, where she checks her son's toiletries, realizing that he's grown into an adult. Soon, she says goodbye to her mother, assuring the woman that she knows how to get back to the train station. However, once she gets far, she realizes that she is lost, as she is not familiar with the town anymore. Luckily, Mario passes her by while driving to a club, so he invites her to join him. The man tries to break the ice by dancing with her, but the woman retreats to the restroom to calm her nerves with medicine. She then returns to the dance floor afterward and finally joins her son in dancing. Late that night, she ends up crashing in her mother's house, so Mario lets her sleep on his bed while he takes the couch. The next days pass as usual, with Nadia scrutinizing her students' movements during class. At the end of the class, the perfectionist teacher has all the ballerinas weighed. One of them even removes a few of her hairpins to avoid them adding to her weight, which would disappoint her teacher. However, Nadia's routine becomes dull and lonely for her, so she later heads to the gym where Mario works as a temp. She joins him on his drive, and he uses this chance to ask how his mother conceived him. Nadia explains that she was using medication to avoid it, but she also threw up often to lose weight at the start of her career. This likely made the medicine ineffective. The son takes her to a show where masked men are challenged to carry a 10-kilogram metal weight using their members. Amongst the contestants is Mario, and seeing him this way makes Nadia feel strange emotions. Despite the others struggling with the pain, Mario perseveres while staring at his mother, who drowns the temptation with her drink. Ultimately, Mario wins and confidently removes his mask to bask in the spotlight after collecting his reward. The two walk back to his car while Nadia comments on his performance. She thinks that he flirts with his audience too much, but they'll be more impressed if he ignores them and focuses on his performance. However, the man ignores this. Nadia drives them back home, and when the driver behind them blares his horn, the two fight back by blasting theirs. The two smile at this mischief, sensing more things in common between them. Without her mother's knowledge, Nadia joins her son in his bedroom for the evening while he is changing clothes. The woman can't help but think of his performance on stage, and these thoughts tempt her to peer into the bathroom where she sees Mario cleaning himself. She asks to touch him, and Mario permits her, so Nadia approaches and admires his body. She then removes her clothes as the two engage in a taboo together. The following morning, Hayne finds Nadia in the kitchen, though she doesn't question why her daughter spent the night there. Nadia explains that she's taking time off from work so she can stay. When Mario gets home later, Nadia is already in his bed, so he joins her. They begin getting intimate, though the woman reminds him to be quiet to avoid alarming Honey. After the deed, Nadia admires a carving she made on the headboard when she was younger. This makes her reminisce about her youth, though she's not bitter about it now that she has Mario in her arms. With a newfound connection to his mother, Mario asks her to help him with his project. He recites a poem he memorized, but the woman touches him to add pressure to his performance. Mario has school and work the next day, so he tells Nadia he'll be home late. Despite being left alone, Nadia finds herself actually happy and giddy for the first time in a while. After a bath, she goes into her mother's room curiously. However, when she spots baby photos of Mario, she turns away from them as if to avoid being reminded of who he is. Still, she feels guilty, so she takes comfort in her mother's scent from her sheets and ends up falling asleep. She wakes up when Hayne arrives home. Nadia tries to help the woman around the house, but Hayne treats her coldly, fearing that her mother knows the truth. The daughter cautiously approaches the woman, who simply warns her that they all get what they deserve. When Mario arrives home, Nadia asks about his day. He shares that a lady from the school asked him for a ride, but she was tempting him during the drive. He told her that his mother was waiting for him, so he dropped her off, leaving the woman unsatisfied. He then asks Nadia to dance for him, but she refuses, thinking that she's shy. He assures her that he'd seen her perform on video before, but Nadia is adamant in declining his request. Because of this, Mario distracts himself by doing homework while the woman retreats to the living room. Hayne finds her there, so she tells Nadia that her boyfriend is looking for her, noticing her daughter massaging her feet. She wonders if the ballerina should get joint surgery already. Nadia dodges the topic and asks her mother if she is ashamed that more things are broken besides her body. Honey thinks that's ridiculous, though when she sees Mario going to the bathroom, she realizes what her daughter means. The woman just tells her that she doesn't understand a mother's feelings. Despite her mother's comment, Nadia tries to talk to Mario as he's preparing to leave for work. However, he ignores her, seemingly disappointed that she refused him earlier. This leaves her feeling lonely, so she later satisfies herself, but it's not enough. Acting like a lost kid, Nadia goes to her mother for comfort. She is worried since Mario hasn't come home yet, and he might be avoiding her. Hayne assures her that he normally stays out late, but the woman starts weeping as her crippling guilt and loneliness overwhelm her. In the morning, Mario wakes up at the side of the bridge where he slept to avoid his mother. He then eats breakfast at a diner instead of going home and continues his day normally, taking his time as he wonders about his circumstances. With Mario avoiding her, Nadia returns to the city and attends her dentist appointment. After this, she goes home to her apartment, but seeing Daniel's toothbrush on her sink stirs anger in her. She proceeds to clean the sink with his toothbrush, but ends up throwing the item away. She then collects the man's belongings from her apartment into a box, deciding to stop pretending with him. When Daniel returns to the apartment, he finds the box of his belongings while Nadia is in bed, ignoring him. Without saying a word, he collects his items and leaves, the woman accepting her coldness as apathy towards him. After ending one relationship, Nadia tries to get her life back on track by returning to her routine, though she makes one significant change. One day, Mario arrives at her apartment with luggage in hand. Nadia welcomes him and shows him the room she prepared for him, deciding to take the relationship to another level to show him that she cares for him. With a soft smile on her face, she tends to him and shows him around the house. In contrast, Mario seems more interested in checking the clubs in the city, which the woman overlooks. The two begin living together, seemingly like a normal mother and son. On the outside, they carry on their strange relationship within their walls. One night, Mario surprises Nadia with intimacy and makes her drink recreational medicine. As the effects start taking over the woman, Mario uses the cane that Danielle bought for her in a different way. The following morning during breakfast, Mario reminds his mother that his birthday is approaching. With this in mind, Nadia buys him a new bicycle, which they take to a place where no one knows them, allowing them to be a couple while out in the open. While taking photos at a booth, Mario receives a call from a friend who's checking in. The friend thinks he's bothering his mother by being there, but Mario assures them that it isn't the case since she even bought him a new bike. That night, he takes Nadia to the club where they freely express their passion on the dance floor. Finally, Nadia is comfortable dancing for her son, so the ballerina lets herself get lost in the music, not caring about grace or poise. Days go by, and the two act normally in public. Nadia continues teaching ballet lessons but starts feeling sick during class one day. She excuses herself to the bathroom, where the woman realizes what might be happening to her. At home, Nadia prepares dinner when Mario suddenly starts grating a cucumber. She waits for him patiently until he finishes, and when he turns to her, she eats the pieces off his hand, as if this was something they usually do. Nadia then leans to kiss him, but he orders her to stop. Instead, he starts cornering her, asserting his authority until she sits back on the table and spills their food. Their moment is interrupted when Mario's phone rings, so he moves away to answer it, leaving the woman disappointed. She goes to the bathroom and ends up feeling sick again. Her nausea continues throughout the day, scaring her further. At the cost of her strange relationship, with no choice, Nadia goes to the clinic where her fears are confirmed. She is carrying Mario's child. Meanwhile, the clueless man has started working at another gym, doing menial tasks as he hopes to earn a spot as a trainer one day. With Mario's career still at its beginning and hers already past its prime, Nadia heavily considers what the future may hold for them. Ultimately, the woman keeps her pregnancy and gives birth months later. On that day, Mario waits for news in the hospital while playing a video game on his phone. Soon, a nurse calls him to see Nadia and the infant, regarding him as the child's brother. Days later, Nadia has returned home with her new child. Mario finds her smiling as she cradles the infant, seemingly at peace. He then excuses himself to leave, and Nadia lets him, thinking that he's just heading out for a bit. Unbeknownst to her, the man goes to the convenience store to buy some personal items. By morning, he's miles from his family with his belongings, including the bike Nadia gifted him, in his car. Much like how Nadia abandoned him as a child to save her future, Mario does the same, turning his back on his child and mother to take his chances elsewhere. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.